And I guess that kind of plays into the issue of, infidelity and affairs, and, how do affairs occur in relationships of successful people? Because you would think
Hmm.
if you're successful, if an affair was most likely to cause you a lot of unsuccessful
Yes.
repercussions.
Yes, right. It could really affect your career because if you have to split up and you got to split up the assets and oh, it's a mess. Or lawyers and things like that can be really expensive. Affairs can happen. So imagine the successful person. They, like I said earlier, they can feel misunderstood. They can feel lonely. They can feel entitled and disconnected. And so what? And the ego starts to grow, right? So then they start to think, I deserve something better. Or, ah, maybe now I could have a beautiful woman or a young, handsome man that makes me feel good, you know, right? So that sense of entitlement can start to happen. Or they just truly feel lonely. Maybe they come home and the partner is not there because remember, if you're so used to being workaholic, your partner comes to not rely that on you, waiting for you at home. So maybe he or she's out doing other things, and then you come home and like you feel like, oh my God, I've been working all day, come home, and he or she's not even home. So then you start to become resentful, right? And so what happened is when people feel resentful, whatever, instead of talking, they turn to something else, someone else, right? Because people don't tend to talk. They don't tend to communicate. Hey, I feel hurt when I'm out working and I come home, you're not at home, or sometimes, right? So that can happen. The other side, the less successful partner, can also feel lonely, feel unimportant, feel neglected. They can feel invisible, disempowered. For a man, he can feel emasculated. So what happened? When they feel bad, what did they look for? They look for addictions, affair, porn, or things like that. And that's why I say the more successful you are, the more you got to focus on building that emotional foundation. And it can be very hurtful. So often I see that when affairs happen, one of the partners can really feel betrayed and they can experience symptoms of PTSD as well because they feel traumatized. Often we don't think of affair as PTSD, but actually, uh, after an affair, a person can experience symptoms of PTSD, like flashbacks, right? Like keep seeing like certain images of their partner being someone else in the head, having intrusive thoughts, a lot of obsessive, intrusive thoughts about, you know, who she's been with, who he's been with, what they do together, what kind of sex positions they engage in, like why am I not good enough? Oh, it's just really terrible. Also nightmares, and it basically it shatters their world, right? Their word about fidelity, about loyalty, and so yeah, a lot of people have PTSD kind of like symptoms.